welcome to the United Nations His Excellency Evairstes Ndayishimiye, President of the Republic of Burundi, and to invite him to address the Assembly.
Loué soit Dieu le Tout-Puissant.
Praise be to Almighty God, He who has allowed us to come together in this magnificent city of New York in order to participate in this meeting of our organization. President of the 76th session of the General Assembly, Your Excellency, Majesties, Excellencies, Heads of State and Government, Mr. Secretary General of the United Nations, Excellencies, Ministers, Heads of Delegation, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. I wish at the outset to convey my warm congratulations to His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Shahid on his outstanding election to the presidency of the 76th session of the United Nations General Assembly. Burundi assures you, Mr. President, of its full, unwavering cooperation and wishes you every success and great fortune as you discharge your mandate, both professionally and personally. I am also delighted to convey the deep gratitude of my delegation to your predecessor, Ambassador Volkan Bozkır, on his excellent work conducted despite conditions rendered incredibly difficult by the COVID-19 pandemic. Allow me to take this same opportunity to convey my sincere appreciation to His Excellency Antonio Guterres, Secretary General of the United Nations, for the results he achieved in an international context marked by several grave crises and a fragile, tottering global economy. I wish him every success and good health as he discharges his second mandate. I also wish to thank the government and the people of the United States of America, particularly those of the city of New York, for the welcome and unparalleled hospitality we have been shown. Excellencies, Secretary General, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, this 76th session of the General Assembly is being held at a time when Burundi will celebrate the 60th anniversary of its independence and of its accession to the United Nations family. That celebration will be held next year. Consequently, it is the time to recall that the UN has played a major role in Burundi's history because since the end of the First World War, from the end of the First World War, Burundi was managed under the aegis of the League of Nations and then the United Nations. Poor administration of the colonial period had negative consequences for Burundi, which brought with them, at the very dawn of independence, social conflicts and several massacres whose wounds still struggle to heal. As the central theme of our general debate highlights, we do indeed need to return hope to our citizens. In Burundi, this means returning hope to our citizens not only in the face of the devastating consequences of the COVID-19 pandemic, but also returning hope to our citizens following the consequences of the series of crises that have unfolded in our country in full impunity. Consequently, this regular session of the General Assembly arrives for me at an opportune moment for my country, Burundi, because it provides us with a pleasant opportunity to share with this illustrious assembly the significant progress made by Burundi on the national, regional, and international stage. As things stand, the restoration of peace, security, stability, and social cohesion is a reality in Burundi. The only enemy which remains a threat to citizens, in addition to the COVID-19 pandemic, which is an enemy common to us all, is poverty. Alongside all our citizens, we have taken up the fight against poverty in order to achieve our ultimate goal, the well-being of Burundi's people. To achieve that goal, we have pinpointed a number of priorities, which we have enshrined in the roadmap entitled the Burundi National Development Plan 2018-2027. This is an ambitious and transformative program which could well expedite the socio-economic development process which has been underway since 2018. Allow me first to turn to good governance and social justice. To achieve these goals, the fight against corruption, misappropriation and the fight against impunity are among the priorities of a government known to be responsible and hard-working. As regards the fight against impunity and the prevention of social conflicts, Burundi has honed local justice mechanisms in order to allow all Burundi's people to have quick and equal access to equitable justice. Moreover, efforts have been made to ensure that we have a genuinely independent and impartial judiciary. We have sought to achieve this goal by rendering the Superior Council of the Judiciary operational. We should underscore here that as part of correcting the grave defects of the past, the government of Burundi is currently leading a process of transitional justice in order to aid all victims in Burundi. As part of managing the security situation, we wish to give particular emphasis to the issue of terrorism. Where this matter is concerned, Mr. President, it cannot be denied that success has been achieved. However, at the same time, we do need to humbly acknowledge that we are far from having developed a common, adequate and effective strategy to eradicate this scourge. In strategic terms, of course, terrorism cannot be justified. I remain convinced that beyond the military action that is necessary, the effective fight against terrorism involves fighting against radicalization, whose breeding ground is ignorance, poverty, youth unemployment, and illiteracy. The UN should undertake initiatives to combat poverty and issue strict sanctions against terrorist groups and all those who support them. As far as we're concerned, we are concerned by the proliferation of terrorism in the sub-region, whose leaders, such as the leaders of the ADF and the Tabara network, are located in the east of the DRC. They recruit young unemployed people and blindly kill peaceful innocent citizens. We're particularly worried about these networks. I remain convinced that these groups constitute a threat not only for our region but also for humankind as a whole. Consequently, we must pool our strengths and fight against terrorism in all its forms and manifestations.